Hi Internet, it is Friday and time for another look at compositional tips, ideas and tricks in wildlife photography. Last week we had a look at horizontal versus landscape orientation and how that affects the image. And the week before we had a look at subject separation, disconnecting images to make your storytelling better. Now, on all of our courses that we present, we basically break down photography into two things. Number one is a triangle. It's a triangle, the exposure triangle, ISO, aperture, and shutter speed, and how those three elements play together. The other one is purely a rectangle, yes? Your viewfinder. When you look through that viewfinder, your duty, your goal, your mission as a photographer, should you choose to accept it, is to tell a story inside that rectangle. And where you put the elements in the frame and how you place them in that frame is a very good starting point. Now, we all know about the rule of thirds, yes? Grid, PowerPoint, interesting, but gets boring after a while. We'll talk about that in some future ones. But for today, let's have a quick look at placement in the frame and how it affects an image. All too often, especially when people are new, they just shoot center of the frame all the time. Center, center, center. There's dead space around the edges of the frame. So, I'm going to pull up here a little thing we use on some of our courses, one of many, and let's talk this. So, have a look at this. That's a rectangle. Yes, that is your frame, viewfinder, call it what you want. That is the story you have to tell in there. Let's fill it up. Right, it's an Arctic sea. If I shot an image like that, yes, polar bear in scene, it looks wrong. Why does it look wrong? The area behind him seems wasted. Yes, he's obviously been walking or going to walk in a direction, so the area behind the subject is dead. That is even worse. Now, sometimes when animals move, we get this. You don't follow enough and you don't kind of plan ahead. This poor animal's got his head stuck against the frame, which we finish stories in our mind. Our brains finishes the stories we look at, and that just doesn't work. It looks like a stressed animal. There's no space for him to subconsciously move into, and then all that beautiful space behind him is wasted. If we move him to the other side, much, much better, yes? It feels better. You can just look at that image and it feels better because now this animal has space to walk into. Still, for me, there's a lot of wasted space at the bottom, so if we were to do this, much better, yes? And that is how the image was shot originally. That was my frame. So, when you look through the frame, try and stay away from the center. Yes, the rule of thirds, those PowerPoints can be handy, but once you know the rules, break the rules. I've always said it should be called the guideline of thirds, not the rule of thirds. It's just rules. Now, break them. So, think about placement, where you put things in the frame. If an animal's walking in a direction, allow that space. If he is, for example, looking in a direction, leave that space. Yes? Tell the stories. If, however, let's flip it around, break the rule, is if you have, for example, an impala running away, if you put him on the side, close to the frame with space behind him, I might be asking you the question, what is chasing him? So again, it's a guideline, where you place things in the frame. I'm going to put up a few examples on the blog, so if you're watching this on YouTube, head on over to the blog, check out some example images in there, and we'll do this again next week. My name is Gerry, this is Wild Eye. Have a great weekend, I'll see you next time.